In today's video, we got to cover that PlayStation Store summer sale. A lot of great deals available as a part of it, and we're going to specifically be looking at games that are super cheap right now, under the price of $10, and in actuality, there are a lot of great ones and ones that are at awesome price points. So without further ado, let's get right into it, and let's start with one that barely makes the cut at because of its price point. It's $9.99, and that's Dragon's Crown Pro. This is an awesome game from Middleearth, a studio that I adore. They're working on 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim right now. That looks really good. They've done Muramasa the Demon's Blade, Where's My PlayStation 4 port, and there's also Odin Sphere, which is available on PS4. Dragon's Crown was their more recent game. It came out back in 2018 on the PS4, and it's a rather good one. Again, you've got that great art style. You've got quite a bit of replayability in there as well. Story's pretty decent, and when you look at a Vanillaware game, it's hard not to be encaptured by it just because of its awesome visual style. But from a gameplay standpoint, it's also really good. Sometimes they get a little bit stale. Like, I remember playing Muramasa the Demon's Blade, and that got a little bit redundant after a while, but that is a very, very minor complaint, and the gameplay is very good in its own right for a long time. So $9.99 for that is really good. Alien Isolation, 80% off for $5.99. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. Alien Isolation was a fantastic game, and it was one of those games early on. It came out back in 2014, one of the first truly great games of this generation. You know, it was like this. You had like Shadow of Mordor, which we'll get to in a little bit, actually, but there were a lot of great games in 2014, late 2014, and Alien Isolation was one that really stood out to me. It's got that horror atmosphere that you actually are relatively scared. Maybe that dissipates a little bit later in the game, but it's really hard to maintain that throughout the course of a lengthy game, and Alien Isolation has some length to it. It's not like a 2 to 3 hour horror experience. No, it's relatively lengthy, and it's got great visuals, and it's aged very well as well. So even if you're thinking, hey, this is a 6-year-old game, nah, it's still a very, very good game, and I would give it a strong recommendation. All right, next up, Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, $9.89. I much prefer Borderlands 1 and 2 over 3. I thought 1 was a great game, albeit the ending was a little bit questionable. However, there's so much fun to be had with Borderlands 1, and the Game of the Year Edition gives you all the DLC. It gives you the enhancements that were offered in the Handsome Collection. Just a great all-around package. Initially, when it came out at like $30 or $40, whatever it was, I was like, okay, that's a little bit pricey for Borderlands 1, given that the Handsome Collection is like regularly $15 or even less than that, but now that it's down to $9.89, I can easily give this one a recommendation. A pretty good title, and you know, this one came out back in 2009, so I imagine Borderlands 1 is a game that a lot of you younger viewers did miss out on back in the day, but it's one that's worthwhile to go back and play. Alright, next up, we got Prey, 70% off for $8.99. I often tout Prey being the most underrated game of 2017, and I'm going to continue with that motto because Prey was an awesome game. This is one super atmospheric. You get invested into it real quickly. Like, I remember when I first boot up Prey, within 30 minutes, honestly within 5 minutes, like right away when you just get into the game, I was like hooked. I was like, oh, it's got a little bit of that eerie atmosphere, and the gameplay is great. It's got that Metroidvania element where some parts of the world are locked away to, but then you get certain abilities, you find items, whatever the case may be, and then you can progress, and it's got a relatively nice amount of content into it. Like, if you bum rush the game, yeah, you can finish it relatively quickly, but if you actually take your time, explore the world, and yeah, it's not this grandiose Witcher 3 size world, but it's a relatively big for being a first-person shooter, and I thought they just did a great job with this game. It was Arcane, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Arcane Studios that worked on Prey, and they just knocked it out of the park with this one. There is a free demo available, so you can try that, but honestly, $9 for Prey, that's a steal of a deal, and I would strongly recommend it. Speaking of Arcane, Dishonored Definitive Edition is 70% off for $6. Dishonored 2 is on sale a little bit more expensive. I believe it's $11.99. Dishonored 1, I love this game. Another game, played it back when it came out in 2012. I was a little bit hesitant, you know, my 16, 17-year-old self dropping $60 on Dishonored, knowing that it was gonna be an 8 to 10 hour game, but man, oh man, was Dishonored awesome, and it does have a little bit of replayability depending on how you decide to tackle the game. Yeah, you can go guns blazing or sword blazing and slice everything up, and it's a pretty fun game that way. That's actually how I played the game the first time through, because, you know, you're young and you're just like, oh, I'm so powerful, let's just go through the game. But then I went back, played it the second time, went the more logical route, and, you know, used a little bit of stealth, and it was great that way as well. It's just an awesome game all around. If you haven't given the Dishonored franchise a shot, check out Dishonored 1, $6 for this, then check out Dishonored 2, then check out Dishonored Death of the Outside and Arcane. At some point, Dishonored 3, please make it happen, because this is a franchise that absolutely should not go to the wayside for a lengthy period of time. Alright, moving on from that, Deus Ex Mankind Divided 85% off for just $4.49. What a deal for this. This is one of my more disappointing games of this generation, but that's because my expectations were literally colossally high. Like, I had unfair expectations for this game, to be honest, and that's because I adored Human Revolution. By the way, Square Enix, that is free money. If you port that to PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, get on that ASAP. So my expectations for Mankind Divided were crazy high, and it wasn't quite at the level of Human Revolution from a story standpoint, and I really enjoyed Deus Ex from its narrative. But the gameplay in Mankind Divided is stronger. I remember I initially played this game on PC, and the PC port was very questionable, but then it got better, and then I played the PlayStation 4 version, had a great time with this one as well, and just for $4.49, if you want a quality action RPG, you're gonna find that here, so give that one a look. Next up, Yakuza Zero is 50% off for $9.99 if you want to get started on one of the more, lengthy franchises, to say the least. Get started with Yakuza Zero. They got all the games on PlayStation 4 now, Judgment's on there as well, and Yakuza Zero is a great kickstart for Yakuza. Obviously, it came out after Yakuza 1, but it acts great as a prequel to that game, and a great starting point for new Yakuza fans, and it's pretty enjoyable, and so much variety to the gameplay. I mean, that's something I'll always give Yakuza credit for. There is so much variety to what you can do in the game, and obviously, you got some great characters in there, and great gameplay. Can't say much bad about it. I feel like I've talked about Yakuza quite a bit, so you guys should be sold on that one. Metal Gear Solid 5, the definitive experience, insane deal on this one. 75% off for $4.99. Wow, if you don't have MGS5, you gotta get on this. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid 5 with all the DLC on top of that. Metal Gear Online, obviously not really a thing anymore, but Metal Gear Solid 5, there was some controversy with this game when it came out, and yes, cut content aside, if you fundamentally assess this game, man, it is a great game. Maybe not your typical Metal Gear game. It does not have the lengthy cutscenes that MGS4 had, but there's a story here. It's told in a different way through the use of cassette tapes, but man, I found myself listening to those cassette tapes multiple times, and you get invested into the characters of the game. You get invested into the world of the game, and there's just a lot to like with MGS5, so I'd give the definitive experience a shout if you've yet to check it out. I mean, I would hope most of you already played it, but if not, $5 for it is too good to pass up. Alright, Doom 2016, 70% off for $5.99. Yes, Doom Eternal is out. Yes, it's the better game, but do you want to spend $30 on it? You probably should, but if not, Doom 2016 is a great shout. It's a great game. Online isn't anything to write home about, but man, that campaign is visceral. It is awesome. It is just a great time, and it's relatively lengthy too, so even for $6, I would say it's an awesome buy, and you're getting a decent bit of content out of it, and it's one of those games, like, unlike Yakuza Zero, okay, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna invest some time into it. Doom, you can probably beat it over the course of a weekend if you sit down and just go ham on the game, and $6 for it, I think, is great. Free demo available on this one as well. Lastly, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year Edition, 70% off for $6. This, to me, was truly the first great game of this generation. Maybe Infamous Second Son, I would give that title too, but it was one of the very first, I'll give it that, and I loved my time with Shadow of Mordor. Was it perfect all around? No, but the gameplay was very satisfying. The open world was nice. It wasn't too big for my taste, but it was just that right size, and the story was pretty good as well. Visuals, obviously, relatively good and holds up rather well for a game that's 6 years old, but definitely a good buy at $6. But that's going to conclude this video. Again, Dragon's Crown Pro, Alien, Isolation, Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, Prey, Dishonored Definitive Edition, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Yakuza Zero, MGS5, Doom, and Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. Some great stuff discounted right now, so check all those out. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.